I spent the night with Alex Jones and worst of all, I loved it. Every once in a while, something drops in the gaming world that is so insane, so unbelievable that even I have to take a step back and say, this can't be real. But it is real. They've made an Alex Jones video game. I'm not kidding, folks. You step into the boots of his truly and take the fight directly to the globalists, blasting your way through shadowy elites, gay frogs and Silicon Valley technocrats who want to turn your toaster into a spy satellite. It's called Alex Jones New World Order Wars, and it's the kind of thing that you'd expect to see as an April Fool's joke or a fever dream after too much super male vitality. But here's the thing. It does truly, really, actually exist. And in a gaming landscape where every AAA publisher is terrified of offending a Twitter intern, this little pixelated revolution dares to be loud, ridiculous, and completely unfiltered. So, with that said, I am Lady Decade, and if you like your content spicy, then hit that subscribe button, as this is one of the strangest yet most unexpectedly entertaining indie video games of the last few years. This is Alex Jones's New World Order Wars. Listen, folks, I'm telling you right now, the globalists don't want you getting video games this cheap. They're terrified of it, but using my links, they can't stop you. I'm talking 70, 80, even 90% off, and that's not a typo. These are real deals, not the ones your government tells you about. Right now, you can pick up Stellar Blade for a fraction of the price that they want you to pay. Black Myth Wukong is cheaper than a meal deal. Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered, Strategy, Nostalgia, Rebellion, all rolled into one glorious discount. And for those of you chasing new hotness, Double Dragon Revive just dropped, and yes, it's already on sale. These are the kinds of savings that make the mainstream media very uncomfortable, and while the elites are out there trying to censor fun, I'm fighting back the only way I know how. With cosplay, you can get behind the scenes photos, early videos and exclusive content they don't want you to see over on my Patreon. You'll be supporting independent journalism and protect your freedom simultaneously. Thank you, Patriots.
Stupid bitch! I'll eat your ass!
Alright, before we dive into the action, before the bullets start flying and the frogs start croaking, let's talk about how this beautiful piece of digital rebellion even came to exist. Alex Jones' New World Order Wars wasn't born in some corporate skyscraper filled with soy lattes and ESG committees. No, sir. It started life as a browser game. A digital spark of freedom launched in November 2023, and by January 2024, it had stormed its way onto Steam right under the noses of the very technocrats who probably tried to bury it. The developer, well, they're officially listed as being SVGS LLC out of Arizona, so good, honest desert country, calling itself a free speech inspired studio. Now, some listings say it's Mint Studios, others say the NWO Wars team. I say it's probably a mix of patriots, programmers and madmen, all working in glorious chaos. And that's fitting because when you're taking on the New World Order, organisation isn't the point. Resistance is. And the price? 1776, so the same as the year of American independence, and a subtle middle finger to global control. The minute this thing dropped, the usual suspects came crawling out of their offices, Kotaku, PC Gamer, you name it, all clutching their pearls and screaming, far-right propaganda, as if a side-scrolling pixel shooter about gay frogs is somehow going to topple democracy. One even called it an embarrassment for the platform. No, what's embarrassing is pretending satire is terrorism. And here's the kicker, most of those reviews didn't even talk about the gameplay. They treated it like a political event and not a product. That's how fragile and out of touch the modern games media has become. Meanwhile, the actual players were out there having fun, laughing, shooting, enjoying a game that dared to exist outside of the corporate matrix. Before it even launched, NWO Wars had already achieved what every indie developer dreams of. It broke the algorithm. Global coverage, viral outrage, zero marketing spend. That's what happens when you make something the establishment can't control. It spreads like wildfire. Now, folks, on the surface, New World Order Wars looks like something straight out of a fever dream, or maybe a lost episode of South Park that Trey Parker was too scared to air. It's a 2D side-scrolling run-and-gun blast fest packed to the gills with pixel art chaos, political satire, and absolutely zero filter. But here's what's going to blow your mind. Beneath all of that madness, there's a legitimately good shooter hiding in there. Yeah. You heard me right. It's not just some meme game, it's a real piece of work. In fact, even the critics, the same people who wrote 2,000-word essays on pronouns in Pokemon, had to admit it. They compared it to Metal Slug and they weren't wrong. It's got that pure arcade philosophy, instant responsiveness, clean enemy feedback, and power-ups that feel like little dopamine bombs from 1998. Sure, it's not as surgically precise as SNK's original, the aiming's locked to 4 directions, the hitboxes are a bit of a gamble, but it nails that energy. It's fast, loud, and gloriously stupid in all of the best possible ways. When you purchase this one, you're not just buying a game, you're declaring independence from the gaming industrial complex. You're stepping into the digital war zone as Alex freaking Jones, saving the world from globalist tyranny one bullet at a time. Every level is a cartoonified version of his worldview. Crazed doctors trying to forcibly vaccinate you, billionaire tech lizards breathing fire, armies of gay frogs leaping into battle, and the humour's extremely crass and the tone is chaotic, but that's the point. It's a parody that owns its mentalness instead of apologising for it, and you'll not find any long-winded lectures here, and there are no 10-minute cutscenes where a character tells you about how to feel about capitalism. No, it's just run, shoot, collect, repeat. Pure old-school adrenaline, and in this stage of over-budget moral lessons disguised as games, that simplicity might just be the most radical thing about it. The second this game boots up, it doesn't waste a second pretending to be subtle. Boom, you're dropped right into the chaos, and there he is, Alex Jones, facing off against swarms of deranged doctors, trying to forcibly vaccinate him like it's some kind of bio-dystopian intervention. It's so over the top that you can't even get mad, you just laugh because that's exactly what it wants you to do. And it's glorious and it's funny. It's a funny game. Across 5 short but explosive stages, the game sticks to the holy gospel of Metal Slug, with none of the annoying bells and whistles you find in most modern AAA games, like bloated skill trees and annoying pay-to-win microtransactions. It's just bullets and power-ups and testosterone. You pick up flamethrowers, machine guns, rapid-fire rifles, and yes, testosterone supplements that act as extra lives. But as hilarious as all of this is, it's the boss fights where New World Order Wars really earns its stars and stripes. Every single level, there are 2 monstrous boss fights, and again, they're very funny. I'm talking gigantic, mutated, cartoonified versions of the real villains who have been tormenting gamers for decades. These are the people who want you microchipped, monetized, and mentally sedated, and now you finally get to fight back. First up, the Virgin Billionaire. I think it's very easy to guess who I'm talking about in this. In this game, they're a soft-handed tech overlord who's never seen sunlight, hurling wads of cash like hand grenades whilst giggling in digital smugness. But as for Alex, when he opens his mouth, you'll hear it.
Get wrecked. They're turning the friggin' frogs gay. Paul McCartney died 50 years ago.
That's right, that's Alex Jones himself screaming into the digital void with 100% organic rage, adding a layer of authenticity these soulless corporations could never fabricate in a lab. Then we've got the good doctor himself, Dr. Fuka, and yeah, you can probably figure out who that's supposed to be. At the end of the first stage, there he is, a crazed, syringe-wielding, smoke-belching madman preaching trust the science, while the lab around him collapses, and the whole scene is like someone took every late-night conspiracy cartoon ever made, cranked the volume up to 11 and said, make it a video game with lasers, frogs and flames. It's absolute chaos incarnate. 1 minute you've got Alex yelling, they're turning the frogs gay, and the next you've got a flamethrower turning globalist minions into puddles of regret. And those sound bites you'll hear, which include, and I quote, "I'll eat your ass," And we're taking this planet back, echo through the pixelated apocalypse like gospel in a burning cathedral. Due to all of this game has something that the modern gaming industry has forgotten how to manufacture. Soul. It's a playable middle finger to the establishment wrapped in 16-bit chaos. And that's what terrifies them, because Concord was built by a committee for a committee and probably funded by a committee and filled with boardroom-approved boredom. Alex Jones instead brings with him pure, undistilled laughter and fun.
911 was an inside job. It was a controlled demolition.
After a suitably chaotic opening, the game hurls you straight into San Francisco. Not the postcards version, but instead the real version. It's a dystopia where the streets are crawling with addicts, shattered tech dreams, and a rainstorm of rainbow-coloured projectiles fired by, you guessed it, the infamous gay frogs. It's incredibly crass and very juvenile, but it's completely self-aware of this, and it hits you like a tabloid headline screaming in 16-bit stereo. And just when you think it can't get any stranger, boom, you meet your first ally, the Joe Centaur experience. That's right, half man, half horse, all podcast. You saddle up with a steroid-pumped Joe Rogan hybrid, firing DMT-powered energy blasts. I mean, can you imagine Sony's marketing department signing off on that? They'd need 12 HR consultants and a trauma debriefing before the first frame even rendered. Waiting at the end of that hall of hypocrisy is one of the greatest boss fights in gaming history, the Big Tech Lizard. Now, I'm pretty sure that you know who I'm talking about: pale skin, blank eyes, and human skin stretched over something reptilian. He's armed with the Thought Police hammer, bellowing that AI is God, demanding that you join the Matrix, and then trying to crush Alex Jones under the weight of corporate conformity. It's outrageous and absurd, yet the sheer conviction behind it almost earns its respect. And when that lizard finally goes down, the digital prison bursts open, the cheering patriots flood the streets, and the whole thing erupts into pure, unfiltered chaos filled to the brim with explosions, freedom, frogs, and the American flag probably waving somewhere in the pixels. It's stupid, and it's brilliant. And speaking of staying out of big tech jail, I've taken preemptive action against the unipolar system. That's right, I've officially launched a brand new channel over on Rumble, where free speech still lives and algorithms don't spy on your breakfast, and I can actually say the word globalist without getting digitally waterboarded by Google. I can't rely on big tech anymore. They'd shadow ban my high score if they could. So follow me over there to support independent journalism. Once again, thank you, patriots.
Jamie, check on those gay frogs.
Just when you think this game can't possibly get any more bonkers, when you think it's peaked and you've seen it all, it looks you right in the eye and says, hold my tinfoil hat. Because the next stop, folks, is none other than Epstein Island. Yeah, Epstein Island. The one they told you didn't exist. Then said it did, then told you to stop asking questions about it. Well, guess what? Now it's a playable level rendered in glorious pixel art, crawling with rainbow frogs, skeletons, and every conspiracy reference the internet's ever screamed into a comment section. The sheer audacity of it is unbelievable. It's offensive, it's hysterical, it's fearless, and do you know what? It is perfect. The devs clearly said, if we're going to parody Alex Jones, we're not dipping a toe in. We're diving face first into the swamp of madness and hitting every frog on the way down. And that's exactly what they did. Alex is in there mowing down hordes of cultists, all while shouting lines like, the moon landing was a hoax, and I told you about the chemicals. All as the chaos unfolds. Midway through, you meet a boss known only as the Rapist, a saxophone blasting caricature of Bill Clinton, swinging that horn like a weapon of mass seduction. It's pure cinema, honestly. This whole island is a tongue-in-cheek tour through the QAnon mythos, with hidden cabals, crooked elites, symbols everywhere, pizza, panic, you name it. Even Donald Trump swoops in mid-battle dressed as a superhero, booming, "We're saving the babies, folks. We're defeating the globalists very bigly." The sheer commitment to the madness is admirable. But what about the grand finale? Well, you square off against the crooked witch of the West, Hillary Clinton. Rendered as a cackling pixel demon spewing corruption and smoke, you take her down, free the babies, and the island erupts into pixelated fireworks of liberty. It's over the top and it's tasteless, but my god, it's perfect. Earlier I mentioned the pearl clutching from Kotaku and PC Gamer, calling this a very silly game dangerous, offensive and a threat to democracy, but the truth is the only real threat here is journalists who've forgotten how to laugh. And here's the main point: the gameplay is great. It's tight, responsive and delivers 45 minutes of pure concentrated chaos. You might not agree with a single thing coming out of it, but you can't deny it. The Epstein Island stage is one of the most absurdly entertaining pieces of pixel art ever unleashed. It's entirely unhinged and it's having more fun than the entire AAA industry combined. By the time you reach stage 4, folks, the New World Order Wars has dropped the mask entirely. At this point, the game is done pretending to be a normal video game because now it's a full-blown politically charged digital fever dream, and this time the chaos heads north. To Canada. That's right, the land of maple syrup, censorship and frozen tyranny. This stage is a send-up of the Freedom Convoy protests, truckers roaring along the streets, honking for liberty, standing up against mandates and government overreach, a cultural flashpoint that the media still can't talk about without twitching. In this level, you're barreling down the highway in a convoy of chaos, dodging missiles, debris, and waves of fake news clowns, little corporate jesters that look suspiciously like rejected CNN mascots. They juggle microphones and propaganda in both hands until you mow them down with freedom. And who's riding shotgun? None other than Tucker Carlson. It's a buddy cop movie written by the internet itself, Lethal Weapon if it were filmed inside a Reddit thread. Tucker Carlson is shouting, "Expose the fake news," while Alex Jones is both reloading and also screaming. It's camaraderie and it's beautiful. Then there's the boss fight with Castro Jr. Yeah, Justin Trudeau himself, complete with that smug haircut and the permanent whiff of authoritarian smugness. The game plays right into the long-running meme that he's Fidel Castro's long-lost heir. Is there evidence? Absolutely not, but is it hilarious? Absolutely yes. The resemblance alone is enough to make you drop your controller in disbelief, but beneath the satire, beneath the fireworks and frogs, there is something real hiding in there, that frustration people feel towards endless government overreach and towards double standards in the press. The convoy wasn't just about trucks and mandates, it was about freedom, control and the people who think they own both. But whether the game captures that feeling by accident or maybe on purpose, who knows? Either way, it hits, and again, it's very funny. Naturally, the usual suspects in the gaming press had a meltdown over this. Pink News even lumped it into a report on extremist media. Extremist media, please. It's a pixel art game with frogs. Calm down, Pink News. Anyway, when you finally take down Castro Jr. and his clown army, the truckers light up the sky with fireworks, the crowd roars and liberty echoes across the screen. The fact is that it's absurd and overblown, and yet somehow it's still more engaging than a 100-hour Ubisoft sandbox. It just goes to show the power of passion. You don't need $1 billion budget, just guts, ideas, and the will to press start.
Say hello to my little friend.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, we reach the final stretch, the showdown at the heart of the beast, Davos, the frozen throne of the global elite, the pixelated fortress where the unelected meet to decide how you live, how you eat, and how you think. It's the World Economic Forum turned into a video game boss arena, glass towers scraping the sky, private jets frozen mid-ascent, banners flashing build back better, like the gospel of technocracy against a stormy alpine sky. And then comes the penultimate showdown. George Soros, reborn as a fire-breathing Nazi dragon. I'm deadly serious. He's swooping across the ice, spitting both propaganda and fire in equal measure. Predictably, the gaming press fainted on cue. PC Gamer called it a disgraceful display of anti-Semitic dog whistling, but here's the thing, unlike a politically charged game like, say, Dustborn or the constant social messaging placed within AAA titles, this game is literally a joke. It's a meme come to life. It isn't being serious. But then again, trying to explain satire to people that think that humour is hate speech is a losing battle to begin with. Once the dragon falls, the gloves are off and the sky cracks open. Enter the true final boss, a colossal puppet octopus representing the tangled web of global control. Each tentacle swings with media logos, bank symbols, and little glowing eyes of surveillance. It's Contra meets Cthulhu, a cosmic brawl for the digital soul of mankind. There are missiles flying, patriotic music thundering, and Alex Jones screaming, "We're taking this planet back," while freedom reigns from the heavens like napalm on tyranny. In an industry that's been sanitized, censored, and focus grouped into submission, New World Order Wars shows up like an uninvited guest at a Davos dinner. Being loud, unpredictable, and impossible to ignore is a kind of game that could only exist outside the system, and that's exactly what makes it so entertaining. Once the smoke cleared, once the frogs stopped croaking and the pixels had cooled, New World Order Wars did something no small indie project was ever supposed to do. It's caused absolute chaos, went viral, and then tore through the digital landscape like a meme-shaped hurricane. Players absolutely loved it. Players reviewed it with a very positive rating, with a 92% approval from over 1,700 reviews. And these aren't manifestos, they're just people having fun and enjoying the absurdity. Some praised the tight gameplay, some loved the satire, and a few flat out said it's better optimised than most $70 AAA disasters. That's not me saying it, that's the people. The free market of gaming truth. Meanwhile, the mainstream gaming press reacted like someone had poured red pills into their oat milk. PC Gamer called it an embarrassment for the platform, and Kotaku shrieked that it was racist, sexist, transphobic and homophobic, and that's a lot of buzzwords really. But let's be serious here, we're talking about a silly side-scroller with pixel frogs and flamethrowers. They write about it like it's a manifesto, but they won't tell you that it runs at 60 frames per second, has 0 microtransactions, and doesn't try to sell you a battle pass. It's actually less exploitative than half the junk predatory websites they work for are always trying to promote. What was completely ridiculous too is that most of these journos never even understood the joke. The game is laughing at Alex Jones just as much as it's laughing with him. But nuance, oh no, that's a forbidden concept in modern media. Everything has to fit into neat little categories, approved or forbidden, safe or problematic. So they miss the point over and over again, and in doing so they prove it. In the end though, the outrage machine did exactly what it always does. It sold the product. Every angry tweet, every sanctimonious article, every trembling editorial was free advertising aimed directly at the one audience the journalists hate most: the people who think for themselves. Whether you see it as a parody, protest, or pure comedy, New World Order Wars stands as living proof that indie developers, not the corporate parasites in skyscrapers, are the ones keeping gaming unpredictable. It's ridiculous, it's tasteless, it's fun, it's funny. And somehow, against all odds, this 40-minute Unity fever dream about frogs and freedom turned out better designed and more memorable than half the multi-million-dollar propaganda projects being vomited out by the big studios. That's the truth they can't patch out, and the victory they can't erase.